Retail sales are at a record number, especially when you talk about increase. When you look at percentage increase, nobody's ever seen anything like it. So we're headed back in a very strong fashion with a V, and I think we're going to be very good with the coronavirus. I think that at some point that's going to sort of just disappear, I hope.
You still believe so? Disappear?
Well, I do. Yeah, sure, at some point. And I think we're going to have a vaccine very soon, too.
Earlier today, the president said, I think that at some point that's going to sort of just disappear, I hope. Is hoping that it will disappear the president's strategy at this point?
No, the president's confident that it'll disappear. He's confident that he's put together a revolutionary, first-class team that is going to break through bureaucracy and get us a vaccine. He's confident that that will lead us to a place where we won't have COVID on our hands. And in fact, there was very pleasing news today from Pfizer and BioNTech that showed positive results for their vaccines.
Dr. Fauci says that we're heading toward 100,000 cases per day. So why does the president have evidence that it would just disappear?
Well,
he distinguished between a vaccine and it just disappearing.
One thing I would note with regard to cases, we're aware that there are embers in the country. We're aware that there are places with rising cases, and that's why Dr. Birx is on the ground and others. We're continually assessing that. But one thing I would note is just that when you do test more people, you do identify more cases, and that is rapidly ongoing. We're testing more than 500,000 a day.
To answer your question, yes, that clip of Trump still claiming that coronavirus will, quote, just disappear happened today in July. And to answer your next question, yes, that has been Trump's talking point since February. He's been using the exact same line since there were literally 13 cases in the US. Since then, we've had more than 2.7 million confirmed cases here. But don't take my word for it. Here are some examples from Trump's own mouth of him promising the cases are gonna magically disappear even as they've skyrocketed into the millions.
Now, the virus that we're talking about having to do, a lot of people think that goes away in April with the heat, as the heat comes in. Typically, that will go away in April. We're in great shape, though.
The virus. They're working hard. Looks like by April, in theory, when it gets a little warmer, it miraculously goes away. I hope that's true.
And we're prepared, and we're doing a great job with it, and it will go away. Just stay calm. It will go away. We want to protect our shipping industry, our cruise industry, cruise ships. We want to protect our airline industry, very important.
Here's the thing. It's one thing for Donald Trump to have downplayed the effects of this virus, for him to have pretended it wasn't real and refused to coordinate a nationwide testing and contact tracing system, to have failed to produce enough PPE for our frontline workers, to turn a deadly virus into a political wedge issue that left his supporters protesting against stay-at-home orders meant to keep them safe, to encourage them not to wear masks or practice social distancing, to push businesses to reopen too quickly only to watch them have to close back down, to push places like Texas beyond their hospital capacities, to see 130,000 Americans die while almost every other country on earth was able to contain the spread and keep their citizens safe. All of that alone is enough to make this one of the most monumental failures of any presidency in American history. But to keep doing it after all these effects have become abundantly clear is an entirely different issue. At this point, knowing what Trump knows, knowing that Americans are dying by the thousands, continuing along with this exact same strategy isn't just stupid, it's criminal. I don't know who still needs to hear this, aside from, apparently, the President of the United States, but the deadly virus sweeping across the country will not miraculously disappear. It doesn't get bored, it's not going to change the channel, it will keep infecting people and killing a portion of our population, just like it's been doing for the last 5 months. Saying that it's going to disappear isn't going to make it disappear. All that does is showcase the incompetence of the current administration. The simple fact is that this president is not going to do the work necessary to combat this pandemic. It wasn't going to happen in February or March or April or May or June or now in July. His only strategy, his strategy all along, is just to hope that it goes away with zero regard for the loss of human life, while he focuses on the stock market so that he has a talking point for November's election. The only problem being that there's only so long the stock market can stay propped up from the Fed pumping money into it before the disastrous effects of the collapsing healthcare system plunge us right back down to earth. But the fact that this administration can't acknowledge this, the fact that they can't see more than 2 inches in front of their faces, is why we're in this mess in the first place. While a crisis like this requires a long-term strategy, the Trump administration is only capable of tackling whatever short-term PR crisis it encounters every day. No vision for the future, just a daily effort to put out whatever fire their own incompetence has started. If you like that video, please check out my brand new podcast, No Lie with Brian Tyler Cohen, where I'll cover the most important political stories of the week and interview major players in the world of politics. Available now on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Check it out and subscribe now.